Still in the same position, everyone there became confused when they saw the little girl. It seemed that Seo Joo-Heon did not know about the little girl who was hugging her very happily. With that, Yoo Ji-ha pulled the little girl's clothes and released her from the body of Seo Joo-Heon. As soon as the little girl was released from Seo Joo-Heon, she rebelled in the hands of Yoo Ji-ha. Seo asked about the condition of Seo Joo-Heon, who had just been hit by the little boy, and it was seen that the little girl was still trying to reach Seo Joo-Heon while still being held by Yoo Ji-ha. Seo Joo-Heon tried to ask who the little girl was because he didn't know her, even though the rope relic tried to make a sound, but it seemed like Seo Joo-Heon couldn't hear his voice. Because according to what the shell relic said that they wouldn't be able to hear the voice of the rope relic tried another way to make them recognize him, and she showed a drawing book in her hand hoping that they could understand it. The rope relic looked like she was drawing something on the paper, but when they saw the resulting drawing they were all there unable to understand what the little girl was trying to draw. Even Seo Joo-Heon couldn't understand what the little girl was drawing, and that made the little girl disappointed and sad. The little girl had another idea, and with that she immediately ran quickly towards Yoo Ji-ha. Immediately the little girl managed to take the cell phone belonging to Yoo Ji-ha, and seen there the little girl was trying hard to type a message that could be read by those there. After finishing, the little girl handed the cell phone back to Seo Joo-Heon, but again their expressions turned confused, because the message there was typed as if the little girl was trying to force Seo Joo-Heon to hand over the relic. The little girl seemed to be waiting for the reaction of Seo Joo-Heon, who had read the message, but the shell relic there said that the message was not read. But the relic shell there said that the rope relic did not type the message correctly. After hearing that, the little girl hugged Seo Joo-Heon very hard again, making Seo Joo-Heon a little surprised. The little girl looked sad when she heard that she would be handed over to the police station. And it seems that Seo Joo-Heon really sent the little girl to the police station with the help of Yoo Ji-ha. Seeing there the little girl tried to rebel. Seo was confused by the arrival of the little boy, but Seo Joo-Heon just smiled mysteriously. Arriving at the police station, it was seen that the little girl was upset because Yoo Ji-ha handed her over to the police station. After telling her the situation, Yoo Ji-ha intended to leave the police station. The policeman scolded the little girl in front of him, who seemed not to accept that she was accused of disturbing others, because he did not want the little girl to be trapped here. Relic Shells intended to help her escape from there. Immediately Relic Shells rolled himself to go out. And when the policemen were caught off guard because they were chatting with the little girl, they were surprised when they heard something from the other direction. The little girl did not seem to want to waste this opportunity, and he ran quickly out of the police station. After a few moments of running, they had reached a road there. Relic Shells, who saw that the situation was now getting darker and colder, asked the little girl when they would arrive. But it seemed that the little girl did not understand what Relic Shells was trying to say, because the little girl apparently did not know the way home and she only went in the direction she liked. Hearing that made Relic Shells annoyed again and pinched the little girl's cheek again. But while being in pain with Relic Shells' pinch, the little girl heard something in the other direction, and saw there the body of a man who was being carried by two other men and was about to be put into a car. The two men were the same men who captured the rope relic that time, and it seemed that they were trying to hide the lifeless body of the man and take all the relics. The little girl approached slowly, and she arrived between the two men with a scary expression. Instantly, the two men were surprised to see the little girl standing there and waving her hand to them. One of the men there looked worried and assumed that the little girl saw everything that happened. The little girl was still confused when the two men put her in the car. The car was running fine, but it seemed that the driver of the car had a headache. They were both dizzy because of the little girl who kept making noise. When the two men were talking about something, it seemed that the little girl understood what the two men were talking about, but her eyes were distracted by something else. and suddenly the little girl grabbed the steering wheel of the car and told the driver to go in the direction she meant. The car looked by for a while because of what the little girl did. One of the men there tried to stop the little girl, who looked very happy and rebellious. One of the men there caught the girl's small body, but because the girl tried to rebel, she bit the hand of the person holding her hard. When the person holding her was in pain, the little girl immediately moved to the other person to carry out another bite attack. Immediately, the atmosphere in the car became chaotic and the car became unstable. Because one of the people there looked very angry, he was about to use his knife, and immediately the man holding the knife did not hesitate to stab the little girl. The other friend protested to his friend for stabbing a little girl. While the two of them were arguing, they saw something in front of there, and it seemed that he panicked when he saw something in front of his car that was still moving now. There was someone standing right in front of his car that was still moving there, and it seemed that they were about to hit Seo Joo-Heon, who was standing in front of there. They were too late to act and were about to hit Seo Joo-Heon in front of there. Their car drove closer and closer, but Seo Joo-Heon was prepared for what would happen in the future. At that moment, Seo Joo-Heon took out his shield relic and used it to protect himself from the collision that occurred with the car. The car rolled violently several times, while Seo Joo-Heon just smiled at it. After the car stopped rolling, Seo Joo-Heon walked closer to them there, while on the side of the rope relic that had just been stabbed by the man was still trying to open his eyes. The shell relic warned that if he died in this state and no one recognized him, then he would turn into a bubble. Exactly as what the shell relic said, there was seen the little girl's body slowly turning into a bubble. The shell relic screamed loudly as it saw the Tali relic in front of it turning into a bubble. Meanwhile, with the driver still trying to figure out the situation, he looked very angry at Seo Joo-Heon, who had made his car damaged and rolled over. Seo Joo-Heon asked the man to return the relic that belonged to him, and instantly the rope relic had changed back to its original form and wrapped around Seo Joo-Heon's body very happily. The shell relic that saw that was a little confused, but it seemed like he realized something if Seo Joo-Heon had recognized him, and that made the rope relic not turn into a bubble. And now Seo Joo-Heon intended to have some talks with the man there, because Seo Joo-Heon had found a lifeless body and many relics were there. Seo Joo-Heon realized that the man had committed murder as well as robbery against someone, but the man tried to deny it. But the rope relic said the opposite and confirmed Seo Joo-Heon's accusation. And with that, Seo Joo-Heon ordered the rope relic to tie the man to a pole there. After a while trying to rebel, but it seemed that the rope relic was stronger and made him unable to do anything. Seo Joo-Heon asked the man to explain everything to him, and gave a threat if the man did not want to talk to him. Seo Joo-Heon was surprised when he heard a voice from the other direction. Seo and Yoo Ji-ha were seen running towards Seo Joo-Heon. Yoo Ji-ha was surprised when he saw that the car that hit Seo Joo-Heon was badly damaged and even rolled over. The man looked upset because, as what Seo Joo-Heon said, if he could not do anything now, the man then confessed if he only did what he was told. After telling Seo to secure the person who collapsed there and Yoo Ji-ha, who was given orders to collect the relic, Seo Joo-Heon prepared to teach the person in front of him a lesson. Seo Joo-Heon beat the person hard several times. Seo Joo-Heon didn't care about people who robbed and then killed other people to steal the relic, it seemed. Seo Joo-Heon just didn't like it when the person held the relic rope and tried to hit him. After several blows, Seo Joo-Heon also got information from the person's cell phone. Seo found out that this person was part of a group called Noah, the same group where Chloe was. Seo Joo-Heon then asked the man in front of her to explain about Chloe to her, because it was impossible for a group like that to be in a city without having a purpose. Moreover, their group rarely did activities in a small town like this. Seo Joo-Heon asked the man to say where he would meet Chloe and what they would do with Chloe. The man explained that he only met Chloe to give her things and did not know after that. Seo Joo-Heon asked about the next mission that Chloe was going to do. Seo Joo-Heon was surprised when she heard that Chloe was planning to join the TBM group. Seo Joo-Heon was upset that her bad assumption went well like this. And because CEO Kwon was still unable to move his body properly, so with that, Seo Joo-Heon could confirm that Chloe would meet CEO Kwon in America later. Seo Joo-Heon acted quickly to immediately head to the airport and go to America to catch up with Chloe. After that, Seo Joo-Heon and his team went straight to the airport and searched for Chloe there, but they couldn't find her. And because they had been looking for Chloe all day, they all felt exhausted. But Seo Joo-Heon was sure that Chloe had not left this place now, but because of their body condition, Seo Joo-Heon had to end her search this time, and intended to look for her again tomorrow. After that, they returned to their hotel to rest, but in the morning it seemed that something had happened. There was a voice of Seo who tried to wake Seo Joo-Heon from sleep, and said that she had found Chloe. Seo Joo-Heon, who was surprised, immediately got up from his bed and asked for more explanation. Seo did find Chloe, but she was not sure because she thought if this was just a trap deliberately made by Chloe, because it was impossible for that woman to just appear on purpose. Seo Joo-Heon confirmed if what Seo saw was Chloe, and it seemed that Seo was sure of what she saw. Seo Joo-Heon was fully awake, and she intended to go see Chloe, because even if this was a trap, at least they would meet again. Because Seo had managed to find the location of Chloe, they all headed to the location immediately. Along the way, Seo felt nervous because Chloe was one of her precious friends in her previous life. While Gildal, who was watching the airport, could not find Chloe anywhere because it seemed that Chloe was hiding her existence. But Chloe, who had been hiding herself, was seen by Seo, and with this, they had to be wary if this was just a trap. Seo guides Seo Joo-Heon and Yoo Ji-ha to the place where she found Chloe. If later what they find is a trap, then they inevitably have to fight it and be prepared for whatever will happen. Seo Joo-Heon tells Yoo Ji-ha to hide when they will fight later. Seo has managed to find Chloe and seen Chloe standing there casually while carrying a bag. Seo Joo-Heon ordered the rope relic to tie Chloe's body, but it seemed that the rope relic recognized Chloe because she was the woman who saved her some time ago. So Seo Joo-Heon asked the rope relic to tie her gently. Seo Joo-Heon also asked Seo to move at the right time and wait while reading the situation, because they had to move like they were going to walk towards her trap without any suspicious movements. Because Seo Joo-Heon had no choice but to do so, and the rope relic moved closer towards Chloe. When the rope relic arrived behind Chloe, she felt strange when Chloe could not feel its presence. After that, the rope relic tied Chloe's body, and after being completely tied, Seo Joo-Heon and the others came closer to Chloe. Even Seo did not think that their plan would go very well and easily. They all brought Chloe's body to a place where no one could see them, and as soon as a little twist that covered her head was released, Chloe immediately protested unacceptably. Seo still looked doubtful and thought if this was just a trap deliberately made by Chloe to distract them. Seo Joo-Heon didn't mind it because he was going to use the relic Munin's tears, and he would see how Chloe reacted when given the relic. When Seo Joo-Heon got closer to Chloe, it was seen that the woman rebelled because she saw Seo Joo-Heon was going to do something with her. Seo Joo-Heon dripped the relic, and the drops hit Chloe's face. After being hit by the relic's droplets, some footage of the previous life lived by Chloe began to spin in her head. Chloe didn't seem to understand what she saw, and it made her head hurt a lot. but the reaction given by Chloe afterwards made Seo Joo-Heon surprised. It seems that Chloe's memory return was interrupted because of the gluttony relic. After that, Chloe suddenly got up and quickly wanted to attack Seo Joo-Heon in front of her. Chloe got closer to Seo Joo-Heon to launch her attack, but because of the reflexes possessed by Seo Joo-Heon, she was able to avoid the attack easily, and Seo Joo-Heon quickly turned around to attack Chloe. Seo Joo-Heon attacked the back neck of Chloe quickly and managed to make her unconscious. Seo was worried about Seo Joo-Heon, but it seemed that Seo Joo-Heon was still surprised when she saw the power of gluttony appearing from Chloe's body. Seo Joo-Heon guessed that this was the work of Jin Chai-won, but because Seo Joo-Heon knew that Chloe was affected by the power, she realized what really happened and why Chloe didn't try to hide her existence, because Chloe couldn't do that thanks to being distracted by the power of gluttony. Yoo Ji-ha thought that it was a good thing, but it seemed like Seo Joo-Heon disagreed with it, because now he knew that Jin Chai-won had other plans, so he used Chloe for his success. Seo Joo-Heon felt that Jin Chai-won was only doing this to get close to CEO Kwon, who was still in a weakened state. After a while, the ringing sound of Chloe's cell phone was heard. Seo answered the call from the TBM asking for the location of Chloe, because the people from TBM said that they did not find Chloe at the airport. Seo only answered briefly and immediately ended the call. Seo then reported to Seo Joo-Heon if TBM had sent some of its people to pick up Chloe, but now the woman sought by Ribberm was unconscious. Seo Joo-Heon then glanced at Yoo Ji-ha, who was confused. And with that, Seo Joo-Heon told Yoo Ji-ha to disguise himself as Chloe, which of course made Yoo Ji-ha surprised to hear it. Seo Joo-Heon asked Yoo Ji-ha to do a task where he had to meet with CEO Kwon and give him a curse. Yoo Ji-ha still protested because he was told by Seo Joo-Heon to go alone to the enemy's place, but Seo Joo-Heon did not see any problem. Seo Joo-Heon starts looking for relics that will be used as protection for Yoo Ji-ha and some relics to escape from there if the situation is urgent. Yoo Ji-ha asks if he is replaced with Seo but Seo Joo-Heon refuses because the only person who is suitable for disguise is Yoo Ji-ha. Seo Joo-Heon gave the reason that Seo could not disguise herself well, and with that Yoo Ji-ha could only surrender. Seo Joo-Heon only gave Yoo Ji-ha a few words of encouragement. Yoo Ji-ha protested again because she did not know how to act like the real Chloe. Seo Joo-Heon slightly confirmed it, but she didn't want to admit it and asked Yoo Ji-ha to be prepared if caught later. Seo Joo-Heon then told Yoo Ji-ha to take her reference from Seo because they were both quite similar. After that, Seo Joo-Heon looked for a relic to give to Yoo Ji-ha, and even though their plans changed, but it seemed that this time the plan would go smoothly. Seo Joo-Heon praised Yoo Ji-ha for being able to disguise himself as Chloe in such a short time, and if Yoo Ji-ha can complete his mission this time well, then he can also increase his confidence. After that, Yoo Ji-ha disguised as Chloe went to the people from TBM. Will their plan go well? What will happen to Chloe?